Hey, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Into the Core podcast with myself, Linda. As always, I am thrilled, I am humbled, I am blessed because this platform was created. And I'm just like, God, you're good. You know, you're always good. So let me first start by saying thank you to Nokia for being my partners. Let me say thank you to a new partnership that we're building from the Hub Karen. And let me also say thank you to brands that I've worked with and that I will continue to work with. I want to say a huge thank you to Akazi Africa for always showing up and showing out, and Itikadi. Well, today, my guest, oh, Lord, I feel like our lives crossed a little bit earlier, even before my baby was born. But because of that, we need a time check right now. So I always do an introduction. So we're going to do the introduction and then start the interview. And I will interview this guy, him. I'm like, him. You see him. This hot guy over there. Right there. Oh, I got it. Point at the window, Linda. I always get it messed up. You're on the right. So I'm going to interview him, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So wait for it. Into the core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the core. All good things in Africa and beyond. All right. So before I introduce my guest, I need to say this very clearly. I dedicate this show to one amazing person who used to host the first jazz show in Kenya. His name was Jack Ojambo, who recently passed on. So blessed. May you rest in peace. And the show is dedicated to you, Jack. I hope we continue to make you proud. So, Phil Denny, welcome to Into the Core. I'm so excited. Phil is an international smooth jazz artist. And like I said, smooth all the way, because that's what he's been doing. I feel like from the moment we met in 2013, you've just been like, your heights have just been reaching and reaching and reaching. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, and I'm feeling the vibe already, and I'm loving that into the core. I like that. That's
hey.
Nice. Yeah.
These are some collaborations. There's some people I need to hook you up with. Just for collaborations. It was done by an artist in Ethiopia called Kenny Allen, and he's absolutely fun. By the way, by way of DC, because he grew up in DC, but he decided to make Ethiopia, Addis Ababa home. So he's
nice.
He's awesome people. Yeah.
It sets the tone. It sets the stage. So very well done.
Right. Thank you. I'm waiting for your production to come through.
Hey.
Hey. Phil, the last time when we met and when we spoke, you were playing for Jazz Under the Stars. Mm-hmm. It was at the Windsor here in Nairobi, and I remember it poured like crazy.
Oh.
But you were so patient, and everybody was so patient with you, and you were just like, the show must go on. And I think we did it next day, if I'm not wrong.
We did. That's right.
We did it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And what a great turnout, and everybody was so supportive. What did you think of Kenya when you were out here?
Well, we got there right after the airport had that major fire. I don't know if you remember that, but so coming in, obviously we were excited to experience all of what, we knew we were walking into, just, great people, great music, people embracing just the atmosphere and the environment of the coming together of different cultures and nationalities. And, as soon as we got off the airplane, it was like, no problem. Like the people of the community and of the airport had just experienced a major loss, but we felt welcomed, and we always felt taken care of. And I had an interview the next morning, and things were not quite right with luggage and things like that, but Edward was like, no problem, we'll find a store, we'll go get you outfitted, we're gonna be ready for the interview, no problem. Like, it was just like everything was chill, everything was relaxed, and that set the tone for the entire trip. Like, we're gonna be taken care of. No matter what happens, things will move forward. And then, of course, we were, hit with that torrential, monsoon style rainstorm, and the same attitude carried forward into the next day. Like, we're gonna take care of things. We're gonna do our best to deliver, what we set out to deliver. Satisfy the people, the sponsors, and everything, and everything. Considering was great. It was just, we had a wonderful time.
Well, thanks for having such a great attitude, because I'm just thinking that I like. Thank God for your humility, because there would be some artists who would have just like completely like blown off the top. Why did look at the weather reports before you book us? But sometimes, especially nowadays, we just don't know.
And I think it came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody was expecting that. I remember, I was just getting out of the shower, essentially, like getting ready to go to the stage, and we opened up the the window at the room at the Windsor, and all of a sudden, like, this massive rain cloud just came over the entire golf course. And not just rain, but heavy winds, which was damaging to a lot of equipment. And it was just like, oh no. Certainly we were all disappointed, but we did what we had to do. We went out, we addressed the crowd, and we made the best of things. So
absolutely. And I think we even stayed on much later that evening. But how is your wife doing? She's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I just remember when she walked out, everyone was just like, that's his wife. How is she doing?
She's doing great. She loves to dress up and play a part. Like, we love theme parties, so I think anytime we go anywhere, she's very well researched. And because we've now been to Africa, and we've been to Dubai, and we've been to a lot of different places together. And she really embraces the opportunity to immerse herself, and she wants to become one with the ladies. So she's doing great. She always has a great time when she's able to travel with me for music, but she's in clinical science, so she's been very busy. She's on the front lines working with a team at our local Sparrow Hospital, and picking up extra hours and trying to dedicate some time to make sure that the right type of response is provided for our patients in the area. So, but she's doing great. Thanks for asking.
Her.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, bless her, and pass our love to her, and just let her know that we're thinking about her, and we will be praying for her, and just make sure that she's okay. Yeah. And how are your boys doing? I gotta take care of the family first.
Sure, yeah. Well, we know that's very important. So the boys are good. They're young men at this point, and they've been doing college and doing some things related to some passion projects that they have, and becoming young entrepreneurs. And they have their driver's licenses, they have girlfriends, so they're getting around just fine, and doing well. I couldn't be more proud. I believe that myself and their mother have raised two fine young men, and we just wanted to raise them to be good, kind people. And I think that they're doing really well. It's really nice to see them become themselves, and develop a certain level of maturity, and to be able to talk to them more as like friends now. It's really kind of cool. So oh, that's awesome. I mean, back then they were, I don't know, like in their teens anyway. Of course, for sure. But I'm happy to hear that, and please also send our love to them, and just tell them to what is a terminology I was thinking about before even you came on? I was like, anyway, it had to do with like taking care of the women, because, International Women's Day is coming up. The UK Mother's Day is coming up. Always be a gentleman.
Absolutely. Yeah. But and just make sure that they what you want and what you deserve comes also from your actions. So
absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So bless them.
Thank you.
All right, Phil. So I've been scoping you out and checking out what's going on.
All right.
You know, I'm first of all, let me go backwards and then get into it.
Okay.
Tough Get Going, I think today at number 13 on the billboards. Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
That is spot on and just keeps building. Do you want to let's reverse it? So let's talk about the album, working collaboration with Ryan and what that has meant, you know, even coming from 2020 and building up into 2021.
For sure. Yeah. So the EP project is called Urban Troubadour, and it really it takes me back into some of my early influences of music from the 90s. And you know, I'm a soul R&B guy. I grew up on the more urban style of you know, jazz, and of course the urban neo soul type stuff. So I wanted to, you know, share and spread a project of that, reminiscent of the 90s sound, you know, but with the smooth jazz and R&B overtones. So you know, over the years I've been fortunate to meet and play and perform with a lot of different artists. So you know, I sort of gathered a collection of producers and artists that I thought would, you know, bring a certain flair to the project. And I'm talking about Adam Hawley, who's doing very, very well right now and making a big name for himself, not only as an artist, but as a producer. My friend Mike Hart, who up until COVID was slated to be the guitar player for the Boney James tour, for the Solid tour, had been doing some musical production for Kenny Lattimore, and we became really good friends through music. And so he was very instrumental as a producer and collaborator on the project. And my longtime friend Matt Godina, who was my guitar player 2013 for Jazz Under the Stars, and 2014, he traveled both years. So you know, collaborated again with Matt Godina, which is always a good thing. And the first song that I released in 2020 from this project was an independent single at the time, but it was always slated to be part of a bigger project. It was just that project was unknown at the time. So, and that song being Lifted, which went number 3 on Billboard. And we couldn't have been more happy with the results. And it was really written to release the pressure and the burden of all that was happening in the world, all these new things that were coming at us and the things that we're having to deal with. So the song is a sense of emotion that, you know, that's a brighter day, a new beginning is coming, and the pressures of whatever you're feeling at that time should be lifted when you're, you know, experiencing the song. So I think appropriately titled, and it just came out at a time where you know, people really needed that type of feeling, you know, with music. So
and then always just go ahead.
You know, so then you know, there's always a little bit of time in between radio singles if you're lucky to be able to schedule it that way. But I had collaborated with my buddy Ryan Montano. He's a great trumpet player out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. And we've done several live shows together. And we've always just had a really strong bond musically. But we became really good friends because as we've traveled together and shared stories, we identified that we have a lot of similarities with how we view music, how we view people and culture and family. And I wanted to write a song and, you know, sort of embrace that whole feeling. And both of us had been inspired by the Shake It Up project that was produced by Paul Brown for Boney James and Rick Braun. And I had always wanted to write a song that was reminiscent of that time, because that record was a pivotal record for the industry. It was a record that really helped to put that type of collaboration on the map for smooth jazz. And then after that, you start seeing all these different tours, the you know, Cause tours and the Norman Brown tours, where you're packaging all these different artists to create a brand new experience from artists that you've been familiar with, but now all of a sudden you get like 2 or 3 or 4 for one price, and you get all this dynamic, you know, stage interaction, and then you go into the recording studio and you have something completely different. So that was really what I wanted to aim for, and Ryan was my guy. So I partnered up with Adam Hawley. He produced the track. And I just started writing, and then just this magical thing happened. And then Ryan came through and added certain layers that really brought the song to light. And of course, he's a great soloist. And then, you know, the chemistry that we developed through the track I think came out really nice. And like you said, today it's number 13 on Billboard. So
I know, and you guys haven't even been there for like a while. I'm just like, yes, this is exactly what it should be. I feel like a lot of listeners and musicians as well have really maybe gone deep rooted, from last year getting into this year. A lot of people are now just really paying attention to what is it that I love, who are the people that I really want to work with, and why should I do this? Am I doing it for them? Am I doing it for this? And just being really holistic and organic about the process. And like you're saying, these are people who you've admired in the background.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of artist friends, try their best, especially with the video content and being live as we are, to have just an honest and genuine and pure approach to music, because we oftentimes do just get like closeted with our music to where we can go and edit and tweak and modify and make it what we want. But at the end of the day, it seems a little bit more contrived or calculated. So I think with the live experience now, people are starting to just focus on more natural, genuine experiences. And really, that's the foundation of jazz. It's an interpretation of language and a back and forth of emotions and things like that. So without the audience, it certainly has its challenges. And that's something that's something that personally has been challenging for me, because I very much feed off of the live interaction. That's just my personality. It's how I'm wired. So to play in a studio independently has taken a little bit of time for me to adjust to. And I'm sure that's the case for many artists. But for me personally, it's been a little bit of a challenge.
All right. So the fact that you were in the studio, so when did you guys get into the studio? So especially for Urban Troubadour, I mean, did that start in 2020, or was it before 2020 and all the lockdowns happened?
Yeah, well, it started in 2019. We started, writing, collaborating in 2019, and it sort of happens like song by song. So as these songs develop, then I might be looking for something different in a production track. So there are times when I would reach out to a certain producer and say, hey, this is what I'm working on. Can we maybe talk about how we can complement the existing tracks that I have? So I would send them some of the works in progress, and then someone may say, oh, I have an idea, or I have a production track that may fit the record. So essentially at that point, they're trying to sort of shop or solicit a production track. And then I may hear something that I believe would complement what's already in the works. But started in 2019, and then transitioned right into 2020 to just keep going. And it actually was a good thing for me, because I find that in Michigan, the best time for me to write and record with a certain level of consistency is through the fall and winter, because things naturally slow down. We're sort of locked down anyway because of the weather. You don't get the birds chirping, you don't hear the sirens as much. Things just have a calm, and it allows me to sort of burrow myself and develop just a focus for what it is that I'm working on.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, like, and I know, I mean, like, wintertime is probably snug time. Everybody is just like more closed in. So it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's not a big touring season also. So, you're not really like on the road and like have a deadline to meet, and you feel like you got to like, and everybody works differently, but I work well under a certain level of pressure, but I work great under deadlines. And then I believe that just identifying that through the winter months, I think that that's a time where I can just focus and have a little bit more, just me time to do what I want with my music.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, so Urban Troubadour right now, your beautiful song at number 13. Let's talk about the process, or maybe reverse the process. Yes, I love it. Love it. So let's reverse the process. So, album number 5 compared to album number 1, which was Crossover. How are you still feeling about your music and the transition that you started when you had Crossover, when you had The Messenger, Uprising?
Sure. Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I've always approached. I feel that I've always approached my music with a certain level of honesty. But
Yeah.
when I started, I was obviously very new or green to writing and recording. So I think the cool thing is, and I always refer to my guy Will Smith, even though we've never met. Everybody's watched Will Smith like from the Fresh Prince, and all of a sudden, into this mega star, and we've all watched him grow and develop and just become a great actor and a great humanitarian, like all the things that he does. But
Yeah.
you know I think as I develop, and we're always, as artists, we should be trying to advance our skill set. But it's cool because the people like yourself can say, Phil, I hear a difference in the production, or I hear a difference in your playing. And a lot of that is just becoming more comfortable and becoming more one with the music, and just letting yourself go. Okay. And I think that, I think that I can sense that when I listen back to my projects, even though in the moment I thought that was, the best that I could do. I think it's cool that not only the listener, but as an artist, you can step back and hear like, okay, I'm making some progress, and I'm growing as a musician, and becoming more honest with the music, and then allowing yourself to just open up and really just let yourself be one with the music. I think that that's really what I try to aim for inadvertently, and I think it's nice when it happens naturally.
Absolutely. I mean, like that, and that is just God-given, because I always feel like we transition. And we should transition in the sense of our maturity, how we, even for me, how I would ask you a question. I think back then I was just like, oh my God. And now I'm just like, it's so great to see you, and
it's
so
me
great
and
to
you,
speak with you, because it's just, exactly. Where you're just like, okay, wait a second. Where, after 2020, we're just like, we're all human. There's nobody who can say anything to me right now. So, okay, so my weather and my internet is dipping back and forth, and I might have to do a part 2 of this if you don't mind.
No problem.
So I'm gonna keep writing it as we go, because I see another storm. I don't know, Phil, you're coming in with the storms, honey. You're rocking in with the storms, but this is okay. So, right now, I mean, if we think about some of the people that you've worked with, collaborated with, who are some of the people that you feel have really also transitioned your music to a different space and a different level?
For sure. So I mentioned my longtime friend and collaborator, Matt Godina. I've also witnessed him grow and mature as an artist, and I think he's helped to push me into a different realm of writing and creativity. And I can recall one particular incident where he said, wow, Phil, he's like, you're really shining. He's like, you're really gonna make a name for yourself on this track. But really what he was trying to say is, Phil, I can hear and I can feel you. And that was on the track Switch Up that ultimately went #1. And I'm not saying that because it was the #1 song. It's just that I think at that point he recognized like we have something good, something magical happening. And it's nice when your collaborator, when your friends can see and witness that. But Matt Godina has certainly influenced me and pushed me into a new realm, and that's really been part of so after Crossover, I went into The Messenger, which is a Christmas album, and then I went into the Upswing project, and both of those were with one producer. So in order to grow and develop, I thought I need to really branch out and not be stuck in one way of doing things, or work with just one producer. And that happened because of the relationships that I was developing, but also recognizing like in order to go here, I need to experience and do work with other people. And I mentioned Adam Hawley. Adam Hawley is he's a doctor of music, and he's got an impressive resume. And when you work with certain producers, they write differently, and they cause your ear and your creative flow and structure to go in a completely different direction that you might not be used to. So that automatically pushes you. And then Greg Manning is another fine pianist and composer that I've had the pleasure of working with, performing live with. We wrote the song Brio Bounce together. He's been mixing my albums since the Align record. And
wow.
I mentioned Mike Hart, and there's another gentleman by the name of Lou Lang that I've worked with, who's produced for so many great artists in the format. And I think that was just very important for me to grow and develop. So those are just some of the few people that I work with directly that have had a big impact on my artistry.
Yeah. So I'm happy. A lot of people love to say, "Oh yeah, I felt that this was me." But I'm really happy that you have such a great support system and that you are,
yes.
making these beautiful transitions in your music where and it will only get better and better and better. That's what I just think. I feel like people influence our lives at different spaces and times,
sure.
I guess.
For sure.
So to Lou Lang, Matt, Adam, Medina, Greg.
Yeah, great.
Who else? Who am I missing?
We talked about
scribble what I was doing.
We talked about Mike Hart.
Mike Hart.
Yeah,
yes.
Buddy Bangs. They're Bud
Buddy
Bangs. Yeah. So
so
but
congratulations.
The other thing too is the other facet of what I do as an artist is locally here in Lansing, I produce or had been producing 11 shows a year. So doing that had afforded me some great opportunities to collaborate with people. And when you're on stage with somebody in an intimate setting, your ears open up and you have the chance to have this language and this back and forth. So having those experiences have also challenged me and pushed me and make me want to go home the next day and try something different. So without having that level of collaboration, I think I wouldn't be where I am today. So I think having the promoter side of what I do with my business has also helped as well.
And then that also helps you. I mean, okay, so wait a second. So if I could just back up for 2 seconds. So Offsheet Music, because is that your own record company?
Yes.
So it actually makes business sense that this is you keep your own rights, you're doing the right thing. You're when you're working to push a festival or events, right. A lot of it really you take care of business.
Yeah, well, I have a business background in business administration and marketing. So before I got into music full time, that's what I did. And then for those that don't know, I also spent nearly a decade running a mortgage company. So that really afforded me a lot of opportunity to learn business and marketing and relationship development and things like that. So that's absolutely helped me in my music for sure. But Offsheet Music is really the umbrella for all things Phil Denny, recorded, live, or other. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so and the business sense of it. So just a message to Wangari, you're on the same. I see you, honey. So you do you. So there's an amazing musician. I'm definitely introducing you to. Okay. I'm really forcing this relationship because she's got. I always say that there's some people who I know in my back of my mind. I'm like, okay, so I know that you could collaborate with a couple of the friends that I know, but then I was just like, well, and you know how you came across. I was like, oh, Phil was around and he's doing great. And I was just researching and I was just like, oh my gosh, he needs to meet Wangari Fahari. She's amazing.
That'd be great.
You would love her. She's got some beautiful vibes about her. And she's also just finished doing a music video and she's about to launch her album.
Great.
I don't know if it's her second or her third album. Sorry, Wangari. Some things are just.
I'll look forward to checking it out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think beautiful collaborations. So I love the fact that you have off the sheet music. And are you looking to collaborate and build up with younger musicians and bring them into your platform and mentor them and grow them? Is this something that you're thinking about doing, or have you already been doing it?
Yeah, I actually have already been doing it since 2012, which is the same year that Crossover came out. I started an annual Christmas show, and that was really the foundation of starting to work with some of our local youth, to where I would feature them on stage at the Phil Denny and Friends Christmas Collective, to give them an opportunity to work with the band, to be featured on stage. And then I started also doing some opening slots at different live shows in the area, chatting with people socially online. I would get questions, not frequently, but on a regular basis, to where I would chat and provide some feedback. And the cool thing is at this point, since 2012, some of those artists have been doing some great things.
Really?
Yeah, there's two ladies in particular, Rebecca Brunner and Taylor Taylor. Both of them have really blossomed and have found a sound and style of their own. Taylor Taylor was just featured, I believe, on a pretty prominent morning show. Rebecca Brunner was featured on The Voice. I've worked with a couple other people locally that have been featured on a national level. And those were all some of the young people that I started working with. So I would like to continue that. I also go into some of the local high schools. My band director from high school is still active in our community as a choir director, band leader. And from time to time, I'll be invited to go in and talk with the students and perform with them. So that's something that I try to do on a regular basis too.
And that was something also that you did while you were out here in Kenya, is that you went to certain places and you played for certain kids and schools. So I think that was awesome. Do you want to talk a little bit about that as we bridge it together?
Sure. So we did the two appearances in Nairobi. And the first year we had, I don't remember the name of the group specifically, but we did have a small group of high school age kids, I believe, that were there that we were able to talk with and just have some time to play music and talk and share different cultural experiences. But the cool thing about the music is that, no matter where you come from, it's a language that we can all appreciate and come together over. And then the first year also, I went to Kapenguria, and I was able to play for a small Catholic school group of children, and that was really special. So I was able to play for them, and they really embraced it. It was really kind of cool to see the level of excitement. I don't think most of those kids had seen a Mzungu like me come to the village, which was really kind of neat. And Amanda was there too, and they were wanted to touch her locks. They wanted to touch her hair, and that was super special. And we got to sit in the principal's office and chat with him about all the great things that they're doing for the kids. And we planted a couple trees, and that was really special. So so that was great. That was really, really memorable.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's what I'm just saying. Okay, so collaborations, and I'm just wondering, can we set up shop, or maybe talk about some collaborations that you would think about or consider about doing with some, amazing jazz artists out here. And I don't want to say out here per se in Kenya, but East Africa. I want to pitch for Kenya first, obviously, and then East Africa.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you remember playing with Aaron Rimbui? Because he was my was my co-host.
Yes.
And now that he's in the States, you need to just reel him in.
Yeah. And then Eddie Gray and June Gashui.
Eddie Gray.
We still keep in touch and try to support each other. Yeah.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
So June just sent me, she just sent me a message. She's like, "Aw, Phil." And I was just like, yes.
I mean,
so
just great talent. We were introduced to some great talent while we were there. And I'd love to. That'd be great. I'd also like to online about Puerto Rico, and I'd love to do some type of reggaeton, collaboration. I mean, there's all, with the internet and with the way, we're able to record music. I mean, why not? Why not?
Oh, I'm so there with you. And my only question would be so are we invited? Are we given exclusive invitations? Is Puerto Rico gonna step up for us and send us our tickets? That's all I want to know. I'm just like, hey, I'm trying to look out for a couple of people.
Right. Well, someday I'd like
I'm
to
terrible.
produce like like a come along experience, to Puerto Rico. So as I get my feet grounded there, we've been there about 2 years now, my wife and I,
Oh, bless.
and we've started an Airbnb business down there. But I'd like to really bring the smooth jazz experience to the local area, because it sounds like there's an appreciation for that music, and I'm surprised at how many people are aware of smooth jazz. Of course, Latin jazz on the island is prominent, and there's some great talent. But I think it'd be just kind of fun to try it and see if people embrace it. But
of course, and I'm going to be corny when I say like a crossover.
Right.
I didn't say that. Yeah. But so and what are you working on next? What's next in the agenda after the whole Puerto Rican vibe is happening and you're looking for greater collaborations also there? I mean, like, so what's happening 2021 into 2022?
Yeah, well, obviously music has changed, and I think it'll be maybe not forever changed, but people are going to do things differently, and I think this this pandemic is going to shape the way in which we do things, and certain musicians and certain industries may carry forward into the future with how they're conducting business and things like that. So, and some of that is for the better, honestly. It's just unfortunately the way we had to adapt. But for me next, I'm going to continue promoting the Urban Troubadour record. I'm going to hope that at some point this spring and summer I can get back on stage and do some live performances, because I have yet to share the music of Urban Troubadour live. I look forward to doing that. I'm also going to start writing and recording for the next project. I have one song in particular that I'm working on right now that I'm really excited about, that I'm working on with Matt Godina as well. So,
nice.
So that's really next on my plate. I have a lot of reorganization to do with regards to my local productions. As I mentioned to you personally, I have been doing 11 shows a year. 9 of those are like intimate jazz experiences. The other 2 are my annual Phil Denny and Friends Christmas Collective and my Armory Smooth Jazz Fete, which last year and this year I was slated to have Huge Groove, Cindy Bradley, Greg Manning, Jeff Ryan, and myself. But it's just with the way things are right now, it's a big risk, and it's a big unknown. And here in Michigan, we've been hit really hard with COVID cases. Our governor has come down really hard, and our restrictions are still very tight. They're slowly loosening, but it's really unknown as to when we can get back together in small spaces. And then because we're such a seasonal state, we really don't know when we can do, outdoor performances with some level of comfort. And then also, the weather with regards to whether it's hot or cold is a big factor too. So
always.
And then, just continue to work on some new music and, just try to go with the flow. I'm trying not to, maybe that comes with a little bit of the time I've been spending down in Puerto Rico, just go with the flow a little bit and just, live life and love living.
I mean, I am with you, because that's what 2020 was. 2020 was like, listen, just live life, love it, live it, and just take a day at a time, at a time.
Right. So I mentioned earlier, I do like to plan, and I think I work well that way with, deadlines and a certain level of structure. But I'm okay with how things are right now, and I'm just really kind of embracing it and enjoying more time with family when I can, and being creative and doing things that bring me pleasure, and spending more time with my wife and writing and working from home. So.
Well, Kenya's going to embrace you when you come back, because I'm going to give you an official, and I'm sure June and Edward and
Parseen.
Parseen, Edward, Parseen.
Yeah.
I know, and Samoina and Christine, I know they are all going to be like, you know what? Please come back.
Let's do this.
We need another Phil Denny tour-esque something happening in town. So
well, and I've made a lot of friends since then, so they can come along with me too. So
absolute, please.
Yeah.
Julian, I'm still looking for you.
Okay, Julian.
So we're just
come on, man. Get on the phone.
I'm like, can you please call me back?
He was just on the Wendy show, so he might still be coming off of that,
I'm not even going to say anything about that. And I'm not laughing. I'm just like, big mistake, Wendy. Big mistake, Wendy.
Wendy.
Yeah, big mistake. All right, so sending you love, Phil.
Thank you so much.
Do you have any final words? I mean, Mother's Day, UK, is coming up, and International Women's Day is this coming Monday. Who would you like to celebrate?
Well, I'll celebrate my mom, of course, and my wife, and then all the amazing women that support my music. Thank you so much. It's just, I don't know, like without you, like where would we be? We wouldn't be here.
I don't know. You wouldn't. I'm just kidding.
So
I'm just kidding. It's so lovely to have you.
Keep smiling. So
it was so lovely to have you, and thank you for responding to me like this. You were amazing.
Thanks for the opportunity. Amazing. Yeah, and we love Nairobi, we love Kenya, and we look forward to coming back, and hopefully that experience will come sooner than later. So
invited tenfold.
All right.
So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. It's been absolutely fantastic. I want you guys to go out and support, listen, feel the movement, understand the movement of what great jazz music is. And my artist for today, Phil Denny, has been absolutely stunning of a guest. So please make sure you go out and support him. I mean, like, I can't even believe you're a banker. I don't believe you're in real estate, but you are just, the musicianry that you bring out is stunning. And I thank you. So we'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks so much.
All right. Sending you love.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.